What's going on, Minnesota Viking fans? Welcome to the Purple People Podcast. It is Wednesday, August 20th, 2025. Preseason week 2 is in the books, and we're going to review the Patriots visiting the Vikings, and we're going to talk about some speculation, question mark, some rumors. What's up, boys? Let's talk about this weird.
Innuendo, maybe?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
We like to do all of the references here.
I
Yeah,
heard those joint practices were dominated by Minnesota.
which is funny you say that. Shout out to my buddy Jake. He's a big Pats fan. He only saw the Patriots social media side of it. He's like, "Looks like we're giving you guys work," and I'm like, "It's not
What?
at all what's on my social media feeds at all." But sure,
Dominated to the point that the Patriots brought their starters out, or at least the bulk of them,
Yeah,
for part of
apparently the coach was so upset with the performance at the joint practices that the ones played.
yeah. So, the Vikings lost the game, but a little perspective here, too. And also, I don't think wins and losses in preseason truly matter at all either.
No.
But, so the Vikings' second squad got some good work in going against the first team unit out there for New England for a little bit.
yeah, I like it. We'll talk about the game shortly. There's a couple of standouts, maybe a little shuffling. I saw on Vikes Verified today on Instagram that the punter situation is neck and neck, which I didn't think I'd be saying, but that's cool.
Well, in this game, they kind of rotated out holders for Will Reichert, too, so the punters were kind of switching in and out and didn't seem to have a big impact. But that new punter has a big leg and a weird kick that a lot of returners are having trouble hauling in, so I don't know if that's something that's going to come into account when they choose a punter for this season. But it's something to keep an eye on for sure.
I did not know that, Adam. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, the punter is through the International Player Program, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's kind of got that European maybe style of kicking out there. Where I do remember seeing that in the game. It's more of a I think they call it like a banana style punt. The way he kicks the ball,
Yeah.
it is unusual to watch. Uh, we'll see. I don't know. I don't know if they're actually going to switch punters. Uh, Not a competition I was expecting to talk about this offseason either.
So this is a weird one for me. We'll keep it Viking centric soon, but I got to talk about something that's on my mind because it just keeps blowing my mind that these franchises and billionaires and all these people are this dumb, and I don't understand it. Like maybe I'm just too biased, and you guys can talk me into the middle of the room rather than leaning towards the player, but. I think what Cincinnati is doing to Trey Hendrickson is an abomination, and we could say the same for Micah Parsons and what's happening with the Cowboys, but I think Jerry Jones cares more about the value of the team than he does about winning. So I don't. He'll probably sign something the last day before they play Philly Thursday night in 2 weeks. But the thing that's happening in Cincinnati bothers me so much because if I'm Joe Burrow, I kind of can run that place to a certain degree and tell ownership what to do. And be like, hey, I really appreciate you taking care of my offensive guys, but what the fuck are you doing with Trey Hendrickson? To lead the league in sacks in 2023, then to have the whole team say, hey, do it again and we'll take care of you. Then you do it again and lead the league in sacks again, and then they just give you the cold shoulder and say, well, we don't want to pay you over a longer contract, you're too old, is mind-blowing to me because he's literally the only defensive player that I can name on the defensive side of the ball for Cincinnati. And right now, his salary per year is $21 million. The highest paid edge rusher contract is $20 million more with TJ Watt, Myles Garrett at 40. So I'm sure he's not asking for 40 or 41. If he's asking for the Josh Hines Allen 28 million, 29, let's say an average of $30 million a year, I don't think that's absurd at all. And I think they should take care of him for that. And I want to know what the hell these teams are thinking when you think you're going to try to compete for a Super Bowl with a young quarterback who's probably top 3 in his prime right now in the league, but you're going to be in a shootout every week and you're not going to do him any favors.
But you hit the nail right on the head when you said these teams, Dallas, Cincinnati, they are way more comfortable investing in the offensive side of the ball than the defensive, and I don't see how spreading that money around wouldn't benefit the team more.
Right, and in Dallas, I wouldn't pay that much money for Dak Prescott. I think it's absurd that he makes $60 million a year. He's a middle of the road
That's
quarterback, and he's only
way
been
overpaid at this stage of his career.
correct. He's only been top 10 in his career in the early parts when the rest of the team was built, kind of like Minnesota is built now, like San Francisco was built 3 years ago. Like, hey, I just need you not to wreck the car when you drive it, kind of deal. I understand paying Joe Burrow a lot of money because my eyes, when I see him play, I'm like, oh, he's a really good player on a shitty team like Matt Stafford was back in the day. Like, he's not the issue. Oh, they paid Jamar Chase. Yeah, because he's an alien like Justin Jefferson. I understand that part.
But the other units are struggling bad. The defense, the offensive line, they don't look great.
They don't look so good, and I don't understand why they wouldn't do. And they had Cincinnati specifically had that issue where they wanted a new language to come into the rookie's contract that none of the other teams and none of the other picks had, and they kind of played checkmate with him for a little bit too, and they finally gave in. But I just have to say, to tie this in with Vikings stuff, I'm really happy that this ownership group and this leadership group in this team doesn't do that, because what a fucking just joke of a franchise to have that many players that are that good. T. Higgins is a legitimate wide receiver number 2. If he was on the Panthers, he'd be wide receiver 1 today. And then you have Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow, probably the best quarterback wide receiver duo in the league, and it's like, we're just not going to pay anybody on the defense. And that really, like, I've heard this expression before, but what does that tell your future draft picks when they come there if they play on that side of the ball? You're like, I don't want to play here. You're not going to pay me.
And the offense is really going to need to have those plays where they can get the ball out quick.
Right.
And they're going to have to score a ton of points because, I'll be honest, I don't trust their defense to stop really anyone. And that is complete opposite to Minnesota, where I feel like the defense is really strong and the offense is capable, but not like super powered. So I think Minnesota has that nice balance where they are willing to pay the defenders. And they didn't waste time locking down Jefferson. I know for a little while there was that drama among Vikings fans, like, are they going to be able to get something done with Justin Jefferson? It's like they still had a year and a half. They're fine.
Yeah.
They got ahead of that at the right time, I believe. Maybe they would have been too early, but if they had paid him the year before, I would have treated that like the Danielle Hunter situation. But you're right, Adam. They got ahead of it. They've got him at a good value now. And then if we can keep him here for another contract after and he can be a Viking forever, I'll be happy because he's a generational talent. But you got to get ahead of it.
He seems to really love it here, so it's a good partnership.
Yeah, if they get the quarterback nailed down, I think he'll be here for a long time. I really do. I really do believe that.
And I think it's an interesting discussion in terms of the Vikings, too, because you look at kind of what Cincinnati has done, where you go so top-heavy on playing your offensive players. And you're right, Smith. I mean, you kind of had to pay the 3 that they paid. That's how good they were. But, the Vikings are going to have that question coming up really soon with Jordan Addison, where, hey, you've invested heavily in one wide receiver. Are you going to go all in on the offensive side of the ball, or do you kind of have to, like Adam said, you've kind of got to spread the wealth out a little bit. You also have to be able to pay your defensive players, and that will be the discussion on what you do with Addison.
Now, is this before or after they trade for Tyreek Hill?
and
Terry McLaurin
and Adam Thielen. They're all coming back to Minnesota, but no, it is an interesting kind of way on philosophy on how to build your team and how it's different from different organizations. And I don't think the Vikings are quite willing to pigeonhole themselves into going so top heavy on just your skill position players.
But it is so interesting to see how the different franchises build their teams and prepare for the future, because the old philosophy was get your team ready and then get your quarterback in. And then you got teams now that got their quarterback and they got nothing around them, and you're like, okay, you got this flashy new quarterback, but you got nothing to help them out with.
It's sad, too, and we can kind of tie this with other NFL news because it vaguely ties in with the Vikings, with Daniel Jones doing a cup of coffee here at the end of the season last year. That happened in Indianapolis, and I think it's really half of it, yes, you have to put on Anthony Richardson because there are reports that he's immature. He wasn't ready. He can't help that he was picked 4th overall. That's not his choice. I'm sure he loved that because he got a good payday, but he is going to be one of those Carson Wentz's of the league where he had a flash and then he's going to go to another team and then he's going to have to go the Sam Darnold route, the Baker Mayfield route of I hope you can prove yourself to another team while you're still young. Otherwise, hope you didn't spend all your money that you got from your rookie deal, because Daniel Jones has been named the starter in Indianapolis. And here's the problem with that. If they wanted to roll with Anthony Richardson because they thought he was capable and then he sucks and you go to the emergency, that's fine. They drafted this dude 2 years ago, fourth overall, and they're already switching at the beginning of the season because he's not
That's
injured.
that's the league.
Do you remember when Anthony Richardson got drafted and he started practicing? He's like, "Oh, the NFL is so much easier than the college game."
Yeah, is it? Is that why you can't even look to your right to make sure your blind side on that side of you is not going to get you killed? Did the running back chip to do its job? Like, and I'm not trying to. He seems like a really nice dude. His answers in all of the media after now that he got the news, he's very professional and a very mature young man. But it's going to be, unfortunately, I think, because what Mike Florio explained it today in a way that I've never heard anybody say this direct, but it makes so much sense. If you think the team cares about a quarterback that much to where they're going to hang on to personal feelings, not a chance. The Chris Ballard and I forget Shane Steichen, their families are going to have to move and go to a different state if he doesn't pan out, and they don't find their answer immediately because they'll get fired. And unfortunately, I think Anthony Richardson's going to be pushed to the wayside because they could just try their hand like San Francisco did after the Trey Lance thing blew up in their face. If it doesn't work out this year in Chicago, you bet your ass that new coach there is going to be like, I don't need Caleb Williams. He doesn't work for me. I don't care if he was number one.
And as Vikings fans, we kind of got to be rooting for that because I'm not sure what the actual number is, but if Daniel Jones hits a certain amount of starting plays,
Right.
Minnesota gets a fourth-round pick.
Fourth-round pick. Kyle was calling it the other day. That's such a good value for Minnesota.
Big brain move by Kwesi. I mean, best case scenario on signing Daniel Jones last year would have been he sticks around for this season.
Yep.
Would have been kind of your veteran backup. That didn't happen. But essentially, it was win-win for the Vikings either way because they low-key kind of just bought a draft pick out of it. It's like they didn't lose at all in that situation. I'm a big fan of Daniel Jones giving us a draft pick for starting some games in Indy. Like, that's fantastic.
Yeah, my buddy Matt's a big Colts fan. I haven't texted him to tease him about hearing that news because I know Daniel Jones isn't what you want, but knowing the little bit that I've seen on all my sports media that I consume, they were like 28th and 30th last year for like yards allowed and points allowed and the takeaway part of some of that. If they could just get the offense average, they were like 9-8 last year. That's a good football team, and they added Travarius Ward and Cam Bynum, so they should technically be better as long as Daniel Jones isn't a turnover machine. But that should just tell you how close it is in the NFL because one side of the ball was so bad, yet they were still kind of like the Bengals. They were like a game away from going to the playoffs. And, man, you got to get that quarterback position right, man. That just goes to show like how critical of a year it is for McCarthy. But I want to switch it to the Vikings because this is the biggest thing outside of talking about the game. Jordan Addison got banged up. I believe Naylor is banged up. It's all over social media since last time we had a show that the Vikings.
Yeah, Ty Felton had his wrist wrapped today.
That's what it was. Yeah. Ty Felton got hurt. Everybody, and Jefferson's out because they're nursing the hamstring and they're going to do precautionary measures there. The Vikings actively are looking for a veteran wide receiver, and I am throwing my hand back in the KJ Osborne basket. He will be cheap. Go get him and bring him back here, boys.
Is he still in the league?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I am hoping for Amari Cooper.
Probably wishful thinking there. He feels a little older than probably what I want, but you know what?
It would be great for a one-year rental. I mean, you're not getting him for the future.
That's a good point. KJ Osborne. Is he
conditional round pick? Adam Thielen, come back home. Let's do it.
See, I don't want to send a pick out. I'm selfish like that.
Conditional picks. I don't late round picks. Who cares? Bring Thielen back. We need him big time.
Are you going to eat that fucking contract?
No, I'm not.
Adam Thielen's going to make like $15 million this year, and I'm like, that's good for the first 3 games, but what happens when Addison comes back and Adam Thielen only has 42 catches for the year? That's a lot of money. But that's fine. I wouldn't care. If he comes back, either way, I'm not going to be mad about it.
If by some miracle he gets cut, and I don't know what their receiver situation is, that's not going to happen, is it? But if by some miracle he gets cut, like, on the phone with him, please, immediately. Are we calling Odell Beckham out of the nursing home?
No.
Odell Beckham going to come play for Minnesota?
No, Absolutely not.
He
No.
already signed somewhere, didn't he?
Hopefully.
I don't think so.
Hopefully he signed with Columbia Records and he can start his rap career because his NFL career is over.
I want to say Pittsburgh.
Oh, God.
No, I would have heard about that.
Are they Tyler Boyd? Yeah, that's a good name. Tyler Boyd, Adam Thielen, Amari Cooper, KJ Osborne. There are names out there. If you think that freaking Terry McLaurin's coming to this team, you're outside your brain. He's not coming here. Don't do that. Don't get your hopes up to be disappointed. That's a thing. That's on the internet. It's out there that some fans think they're going to trade for Terry McLaurin. It's not going to happen. But
Oh, he visited the Steelers. He didn't actually sign. Okay.
so here's the Panthers depth chart. Adam Thielen, Xavier Legette, which is a fun follow.
I like Leggett.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good player. Hunter Renfrow right behind White Chocolate. So 2 White Chocolates on that team. I love that. David Moore, never heard of him. Bryson Tremaine, Jacoby George, Jasim Reed, and TJ Luther. So outside of 8 of those receivers, 3 of them I've heard of.
Didn't they draft one in the first round or something like that this year?
I don't remember who it is. I want to say it's one of these guys.
But yeah, I don't see Minnesota making a move on the wide receiver situation until after rosters are trimmed to 53, which I want to say is next Wednesday.
Yeah, coming soon, and I think you're right, Adam. I think there's going to be movement on the receiver front. I still think that our number 2, our backup quarterback, is not currently on this roster. I still think something is going to happen with that situation. I'm fine with McCarthy at 1.
Well, Sam Howell looked really good in preseason week 1, and then this week, terrible.
I don't know. I still don't know about that backup spot, and I do think Max Brosmer has shown enough to where you keep him as that inactive QB3.
Yeah, I do think Minnesota keeps 3 quarterbacks, but right now I don't know who they're going to be. We know J.J. McCarthy's going to be one, but past that, I think it's up for grabs.
McCarthy and Brosmer, and I think that number 2 spot, that backup quarterback, I don't think is on the roster right now, Adam. I don't.
Who are you thinking of? I know you've got somebody in mind.
Well, we got one guy over at the Vikings just pounding the table for Jameis Winston.
I don't hate it.
I mean, someone is going to be odd man out in that Giants room.
Yeah, because Jackson Dart looks really good, and
yeah,
I don't think they're going to start him. I think he's your panic button, save our job thing there because Russ is going to be fine to start. But I worry about his age, and obviously the production hasn't looked good.
Speaking of age and bad quarterback decisions, how does Cleveland hand the team to Joe Flacco?
Because he looks better than anything they have there.
Have you watched the preseason? Shador is looking amazing.
Shador looked really good. I hope the rumors are true that he gets.
And he's a rookie. I mean, you throw him in there, you see, it's the Cleveland Browns. They're not making a Super Bowl run.
But I always have to go back, Adam. You know what I'm going to say. You have to go. He's playing against preseason Panthers 2s. I hope you look good against the backups in Carolina. That's my only thing is cool. And you know what? This is not even a shot at Shador because it's low-hanging fruit to make fun of and talk shit. How are the Browns so stupid? I'm so sorry for my friends that are Browns fans. They're the most accursed fan base in all football. How do you draft a quarterback in the 3rd round and then again in the 5th? How stupid are you? You could have had either one of them and literally any other position to help your team get better. And now you're going to say, well, and then they shot themselves in the other foot because they traded for Kenny Pickett. They have to be the worst run franchise. And the Jaguars and the Panthers. The Panthers and Jaguars exist at the moment, and they're awful too. I don't understand.
You know who I've been asking for? Yeah, don't try to figure Cleveland out. There's no, you're never gonna do it. I've been on the table for Davis Mills as a backup quarterback for the Vikings for a couple seasons now, and I still low-key say if there was any way you could get Davis Mills on this roster, that's kind of the perfect backup quarterback for J.J. McCarthy. I would be totally okay with that. That's not
sad news. Ben DiNucci got signed.
Yeah.
So he ain't coming to Minnesota.
Where's he
the one? Was he the one that put on Twitter that the source was himself?
That was him.
Yeah, that's so fucking funny. I love that.
That's so good. He said, "Per me, good source." That's how you know you got a good guy in the locker room. I'll tell you what.
Didn't it say per me and then reliable?
Oh, yeah.
Reliable.
Was so good, dude. But this is tied into this conversation. I'll tell you what I love, man. I've seen it on YouTube. It's snuck into my algorithm. I told the guys in the chat, you got to go watch, and you can just search the highlights, so you don't have to watch the whole full episodes of each person. But Games with Names with Julian Edelman. I've always loved Julian Edelman just because he's kind of like an everyman. He's not the biggest dude. I think he should be in the Hall of Fame, but if you look at the numbers, you have a good argument to say he shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Even though he's a fucking Super Bowl MVP and won 3. I don't know. We could argue that left and right. I understand both sides.
Playing with the greatest quarterback of all time.
Correct.
We'll do that.
Correct. And probably because of that quarterback and coach, he has the most, I think, receptions ever in postseason history. But I can understand why you say, well, he didn't do this and this and this. I get it. But he's had some of the best guests on his show. And like I found out that Matt Light is my favorite New England Patriot of all time. It's not Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Any offensive lineman that purposely fucks with Bill Belichick just to piss him off is my GOAT forever.
Offensive linemen are either super serious or they are just like the clowniest motherfuckers you've ever heard. There is no in between with an offensive lineman. I'll
tell you from being in the Vikings training facility in the last 2 years when I went there, going there around Halloween and seeing they have literal like storage crates that you would have in a garage, like plastic stackable shelves full of candy. And I asked my buddy who got me there, I was like, what is this? He goes, you don't know whose room this is? He's like, look how big the chairs are.
O-line.
I was like, oh, this is the O-lineman room. He goes, look, there's 20 buckets of candy in here. Of course it's yeah. Oh, cool. This is the best room to be in.
You know, training camp and all that BS is pretty well in the rear view at this point for the Vikings. This is the time of year where if you have a veteran that you don't need to do all that stuff, we can call you on the phone and you can come in week 1. That's my long-winded way of saying, how close are you, if you're the Vikings, to calling Stephon Gilmore on the phone and saying, hey, you want to come back and play week 1 for us out there at corner?
I don't see the need at corner right now.
Really? What do you say, Smith?
I'm always good at calling who you think is good, but I can't say that outside of wide receiver, I don't know. And this is just my opinion. You guys know I've said this on the show 100 times in the 10, 12, however many years I've been with you guys. If the starter goes down, we're pretty fucked anyways. So
Yeah.
I don't care. I've seen Sean Mannion play football for this team.
No.
I've seen Nick Mullins have to suit up multiple weeks in a row. Like, you can't hurt my feelings more than the Vikings already have.
Here's the thing, man. I know he's had a good training camp, but that corner we signed in free agency, who historically is a big bust out there, you know, you're getting dangerously close to putting him in a situation where you're expecting him to do a lot for the Vikings. And the closer we get to the regular season, the more I'm like, can we just call Gilmore on the phone and
But
just
you gotta remember, we
him...
haven't seen Byron Murphy. We haven't seen Isaiah Rodgers.
I know.
We barely saw Mekhi Blackman.
You're talking about Jeff Okudah, right?
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
You're getting dangerously... I know he's had a good camp and stuff, but man...
And if you're worried about a cornerback 4, your roster's fine.
Do you really want to put Jeff Okudah?
Well, he's not our corner number 1 or number 2. So in his role, I'm fine where he's at. Now, if he was number 1 lockdown outside corner, I'd be hitting the panic button tomorrow because the history says up until now he was what Sam Darnold was at a quarterback. And I'm like, it's not good. What are we doing? But I'm hoping he can have a Sam Darnold kind of year because – dude, something happens when Brian Flores takes over a defense, man.
And there's been absolutely no rush bringing him along. Let him take his time, adjust, enjoy where he's at, get to know the defense real well. There's no rush to get him on the field and playing.
Speaking of, we haven't talked about this since last week, too, and I mentioned Brian Flores. Didn't even mention it for the news because I forgot about it. The big courts ruled in favor of Brian Flores for racial discrimination. Yeah. So with that coming out, and then Mike Florio put out a book, which is crazy that the NFL doesn't try to sue the shit out of him. He put out a book exposing some of the corruption in the NFL. The NFL is not in a very good look, like PR-wise, in the last week or so. Of course, nothing will happen because the shield's too big. But I really liked that they ruled in favor for Brian Flores because it kind of shows in Miami, like, okay, I understand if the coach is too much of a hard ass and he's too much of a 1987 coach, probably players today are a little too soft to have that kind of coaching. But Brian Flores, halfway through his first season, he turned the team around pretty quick, and they ended with about a 500 record. And that's about where Mike McDaniel is in year 4 of having him down there in Miami. And I really like who was the guy that came over? Van Ginkel was there when he was there, and then another player spoke highly of him that played for him with the Dolphins. He's like, I have nothing bad to say about Brian Flores. He rules. So if you have a problem with him, that's a you thing. That's just something that if you're a Vikings fan, I urge you to go look up online and look at, because he's not going to stay here forever, and we are very blessed to have him for more than one season. I thought he was only going to be a 1-year rental.
Oh yeah,
I did too.
So
while we're talking about drama, I want to mention the manufactured drama of the Minnesota Vikings male cheerleaders.
let's hear it.
I have not talked to one single person who cares or thinks it's a big deal. To me,
Right.
I'm fine with it. It's not a big deal. And as a Viking age, I haven't had a whole lot of people reaching out and being like, hey, this disgusts me. Yeah, we're seeing headlines saying Vikings fans want to cancel their season tickets. Who? Tell me some of these people. Who?
That's just not true. I'll say the elephant in the room, because I know people feel the way I do. I'm a straight white male. Do I want to see a dude in a cheerleading outfit dancing? I do not. I'll go a step further. I don't like watching a guy in a cheerleading outfit moving around like I would naturally see a woman. But you know what I will say, and it'll be unpopular against some of my friends. Does it bother me to the point where I like take my shirt and my Vikings gear and I say, fuck the Vikings, I burn it, whatever else?
Yeah.
No, dude, because you know what? And I'll keep it real simple. I'm not playing to propaganda, and I'm not being a yes man. I'm not saying this to cover my ass. This is truly how I feel. If I was a parent and my son came out to me as gay, do you think I would hate my son if he was gay? Because I assume, I'm just assuming, and I could be wrong, but I assume this person is not heterosexual. Most male cheerleaders are not.
I have no clue.
I'm assuming that's what it would be, and that's kind of the jokes that I get sent from my friends. And it's fine. If you're a Viking, if you're a friend of mine and you're not a Vikings fan, and you send me like, well, I guess the one that I got was you remember The Longest Yard? They always do the cheerleading.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay, the gayest team in the Cowboys. The gayest team isn't the Cowboys anymore, and they show the Vikings there. I'd be like, okay, that's funny. I can take the joke because to Adam's point, it doesn't bother me that much that I'm not going to watch the game. Like at the end of the day, okay, cool. They hired male cheerleaders. Cool. Here's the point that I would go to counter that. Not that I'm going to defend or die on the hill for either side. Have you ever been to a college football game? There's dude cheerleaders on every sideline.
Well, the creepiest part of this whole thing is, people are sexualizing all these cheerleaders. Do you know who the Green Bay Packers cheerleaders are?
No.
High school girls.
Yeah, see, that's the other. That's the
They don't
part
have a
where-
professional adult cheerleading team.
Yeah. See, that's the part where if you serve somebody up just the mirror, you don't even have to say anything. All right, well, look at this. And they'd be like, the butts and the ums and all that stuff comes out. Do I care? No. I have friends that are either homosexual or bisexual. That's cool.
Is it Blaze's long blonde hair that's like throwing people off, or what is it?
I know exactly what it is, Adam. We can all speak on it if you word it the right way, because cancel culture sucks and you guys shut up. It's because it's an effeminate man. That's what it is. People get weirded out when there's an effeminate man, but it's like, okay, dude, is that what I go to watch football for? The alpha male sport of all alpha male sports, not named the UFC? No. Does it bother me enough to where I'm like, you know what? F this team. I'm going to be dramatic. Like, you remember back when Colin Kaepernick drama was happening and people were burning their jerseys
Oh,
in
yeah.
San Francisco? Am I doing that? No. My ass is going to be parked in the chair and my couch upstairs 8:20 Eastern time, Sunday or Monday, September 8th, when they play the Bears in Chicago. It's not going to be a thing where I'm like, oh my God, I'm never watching football again. And that's what I'm laughing at, because to your point, Adam, it is manufactured. No Vikings fan in their right mind is like, done with the team, can't do it.
Androgyny has never bothered me. I'm a big David Bowie fan, so it's good by me.
Dude, you're opening up a can of worms here. Do you know who at Mount Rushmore, I won't argue with anyone for a vocalist of all time? Freddie Mercury. Argue with the fucking wall, dude. Do you care? Do you think I care about his sexual preference? Elton John could be on that list too. Do you think I care? No. Okay, it's gonna be probably decades before that gets out of all of our system, because that's where the generations come in to get rage. But that's the part that I can't get on board with is like people are selling their season tickets. Prove it. Prove that.
That's
where-
funny. Like my sister
I
sent
would
me a
like
message,
to.
and
I
she's
would
not
like
even
to
a
buy
football
those
fan.
season tickets. If you're selling, please let me know.
I got people that aren't even football fans sending me the message being like, hey, what is all this drama about? I'm like, it's manufactured drama. Nobody's actually doing this.
Did I know that people were going to give me shit for that because they know how much I love this team?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Can I handle it? Absolutely. If you heard my conversations between my military friends, dude, I'd get canceled 17 times because it's the darkest, raunchiest shit you'd think. But we're all of the knowledge of, I know I can say this to you because we're friends and we're okay with that. As long as it's not blatant racism or some crazy shit like that. Cool. I can take any of the jokes you say because I'm going to laugh at it. It's funny. I can see the joke and everything. But I can't get on board with that. That's what makes me mad is people are like, oh man, like I can't believe they did this. And I'm like, why can't you believe it? What, you never seen this before? Like, cool. And here's the thing: once it kicks off, if the Vikings go out and beat the dog shit out of the Bears, do you think they're going to be talking about a cheerleader on Tuesday morning? Get out
Oh,
of here,
somebody
dude.
will.
There's no way.
Well, there will be the debate about the male cheerleaders from Minnesota or Caleb Williams.
Yeah, the fingernail stuff, which is what I clap back with to one of my buddies. Shout out to Nick; he's a huge Bears fan. He goes, "Well, at least we don't have male cheerleaders." I was like, "You probably do have male cheerleaders, you just don't know about it." I was like, "Your quarterback paints his fingernails." Radio silence. I was like, "Come on, bro! I expect a cheerleader to paint his nails, but the quarterback." Radio silence. So,
But I just wanted to mention that because it's been all over in my news feeds, and my friends have been sending me the messages, and I don't think it's a big deal whatsoever. But if you're just looking at media right now, you're thinking this is a big deal.
You can send all the jokes our way. We can handle it. It's not going to make me not be a fan of this team. What I've learned over the years from being rage baited into about 1 million Facebook conversations is if you just walk in with the idea that you're going to be disappointed and you go ahead and insult yourself, 99% of the population has no idea how to respond to that. So
you think we can't make it through a male cheerleader? We made it through Christian Ponder. We'll be fine.
I've been a part of
Josh Freeman,
Deflategate, Josh Freeman, Christian Ponder, a Matt Castle year. I've been through Sam Bradford. Yeah, the love boat. We've been through it all, dude. Wide left, yeah. Like, we've been through it all, dude. Daniel Jones beat us in the playoffs at home. Like,
Darren Sharper.
You can't hurt us. You can't hurt us more than the team. Oh no. Oh no. Yeah.
And whatever the heck Adrian Peterson's doing.
Boxing at his local armory gym.
Boxing the guy he plays poker with.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, you can't hurt me any more than this team has, bro. I promise. They've hurt my feelings way more than you have, so it's fine. Good point, Adam. That's a good point of discussion.
Well, while we're talking about cornerbacks, there were some interesting players that were or not cornerbacks, but players stepping up. Wide receiver Miles Price will probably make the 53, just based on his return ability. I know he's a shorter guy, a slot guy, but he looked real good as a return man against New England. So, hoping Miles Price can have a spot on this roster.
Yeah, I wish that I could have gotten to see this game. I had my son this weekend, and we were out having fun and doing all the fun things while the weather's still nice. But
so I don't know if you guys are both iPhone people, right?
Yeah.
So Google does these Google rewards where they'll send you surveys and you can earn Google Cash for them. And I used that money to get NFL Plus to watch the preseason games. So
nice.
That's how I've been watching all those.
That is awesome. Adam, if there's one thing I've learned from you over the years, you'll find a deal if you can get one. I love that about you. I love that.
Hey,
dude.
when you don't make a lot of money, you gotta live cheap, There's
nothing wrong with it either. I think more people would benefit from that because I think most of the things we buy in society are overpriced. So I'm happy that you could find a deal like that. I did not know, looking at the stat sheet, now that we're going to talk about this game, I did not know Josh Dobbs was a Patriot, so that's cool.
There you go, yep.
And to Adam's point, Sam Howell didn't look good. You only completed 1 pass out of 5 attempts, and one of them was...
Look at his quarterback rating.
It's a 0.
That's difficult. That is difficult to do.
1 out of 5 for completions and attempts and an interception. Oh, my God.
And that interception was a terrible decision. Terrible.
So, see, that is why I don't want Sam Howell even on this roster, Adam.
They traded for him, though. God, do you get
rid
of him?
I don't care.
They didn't give up almost anything to get him.
It doesn't matter. You bought a draft pick with Daniel Jones. Like, it all comes back in some way, whatever. I don't want Sam Howell on this roster. His decision-making, he holds the ball too long, and instead of just taking a sack, which is not good, he will just chuck that shit up and get himself an interception with it instead of.
And he looked good in week 1 of the preseason. He looked like a capable backup quarterback.
But this
And
is
then
to
week
my
2 of the
point.
preseason rolls around and it's like, nope.
This is my point of what's been said about Sam Howell from all the big guys like Ian Rappaport and God, what's the other guy's name? I can't think of his name.
Skip Bayless.
Not Tom Pelissero. Who's the other guy that's always going around? Damn it, Albert Breer. He's been to all the camps too, and he said that's the consistent theme from those guys like that have been to Minnesota's camp is it's just ups and downs of Sam Howell. The consistency is just not there, and you kind of need that. I kind of need a surefire thing. I need to know
That's
what
one
I'm
thing
getting.
I like about Brett Rippon is that he seems consistent with what he is.
I like Brosmer. It says here, if you guys didn't watch, 15 of 27, 156 yards. So he played like the whole second half.
Yeah,
Did have a pick, took some sacks, so he wasn't the best rated, but he obviously
he was
wasn't.
also playing again to defend him a little bit because now I'm a fan of his and want him to make the roster. But man, he's out there with 3s and 4s and not a good line and receivers that aren't going to make the team. So
And going up against twos kind of sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's trying to make the best of what he can in that situation as well, too.
So Thursday is the 21st. So Friday, they are going to Tennessee to play the Titans. And then Tuesday, the 26th, is the final roster cuts. So I think we should do that command decision now. We should have a show in a week, which is kind of good that we spaced this one out a little longer than usual from the time of the game, because after that, they're going to have to be faced with some tough decisions. And I would bet that they're not going to sit on their thumbs for a few days and make a decision once some teams get rid of a player. What?
Is that legit?
What?
Is this legitimate? I got to look this up right now. I'll tell you.
Google that.
Yeah, I was just about to say that if you go back and watch that game, Garrett Bradbury gets
Oh my
absolutely
God!
blown up by Tyron
4
Dawkins.
minutes ago, Adam Schefter. Vikings are
Holy
trading
fuck.
Harrison Phillips for a 7th round pick.
Smith, remember a couple days ago?
Kyle called this.
A couple days ago,
He texted me this.
I sent you. I don't know where it is now.
They are getting a 2026 6th round draft pick and a swap of 20 picks in 2027. Wow. Well, there you go.
Anyway,
Skull for Life Barber breaking news on the show. Holy crap.
I texted you a couple days ago and told you Harrison Phillips might not make this roster.
I have it right here. Monday at 12:23 p.m. Harrison Phillips could be a surprise cut this year. Older player, lots of depth, save some cap space.
And that was just me, like, looking at...
Dude, that sucks because he loves Minnesota, and Minnesota, the community, loves him.
But...
Damn.
Him and his family always post about how much they love it here, and so that's kind of sad.
It's a business. What do you say they got out of him?
All right, so Tom Pelissero, this is on Twitter, trade. The Vikings are sending veteran nose tackle Harrison Phillips to the Jets for a 2026 6th round pick and a swap of picks in 2027, and I think that's a 7th rounder. So they're getting a pick next year, and in 2027 they're swapping 7ths.
So if you're only
and he only had a cap hit of about $5.5 million.
Well, they're going to go get a wide receiver now because they're making cap room and they're getting picks back, even though they're later. So they have to be going to get a wide receiver, even though I know that this isn't the position he plays. I'm just making
backup quarterback.
Yeah, they're loading up assets right now.
Or backup quarterback, dude. It's one of the two.
Wow. The Browns. Okay, so the Browns signed somebody too. Nobody that we know of. That's crazy.
So now we got to on the fly look at what the Vikings are going to be doing for defensive line with Harrison Phillips out.
Oh, they got plenty of depth there.
Yeah, I think they're rolling with the young ones.
Yeah.
Money-wise, I think it makes sense now. Like you said, they either go for a wide receiver or a quarterback. And that's why I was just saying, this is all tying together great. Thank you, Barber. I think this is tying together well to have a show on Wednesday because if they're smart, if they don't go and trade for somebody, which that's how you get somebody right now is you go trade for them. But if they don't trade for anyone, they're either going to wait for a quarterback that they didn't think was going to be available or a wide receiver that they didn't think was going to be available. I think the quarterback market is a little bit mulled at the moment, and I don't know that LA is going to do this, but I'm really worried about Matthew Stafford. I think he's not going to play the full year, even if he does wait.
All those reports I'm hearing about his back do not sound good.
They're not great, and they have Jimmy Garoppolo. Guess who's not the epitome of health in his entire career? Jimmy freaking Garoppolo. So I think they are not surprised candidate in the sweepstakes to go get a quarterback, even though they want to try to let Stafford rest. He may start the season on PUP. That sounds like what I would do if I were them. But they could be a team that's surprisingly in the market for a quarterback that could present some competition. I really wish that the Vikings wouldn't have let Taylor Heineke go to the Chargers. That really makes me mad. But they're still Jameis Winston. They're still Carson Wentz. You could possibly get Jameis Winston seems to be like the biggest name that you probably could get because I don't think they're getting rid of Russ. They just drafted Jackson Dart. I don't see that they would keep 3 on the roster of that caliber.
No, they are saying that they aren't really looking to trade Jameis Winston, but in NFL speak, that means up your offer.
Yeah.
Oh, man, this is wild. We never have stuff that breaks on the show. It always happens right when we get done with the show or the day after. That's crazy. NC Sports, did you hear the news? We're talking about it right now. Oh, my gosh. Harrison Phillips got traded to the Jets for a 6th-round pick next year and a swap of picks in 2027. It just happened 8 minutes ago while we were on the show. Crazy. We're talking about veteran quarterbacks on this show, maybe wide receivers. If you've heard the rumors, they're looking because all the wide receivers are hurt. What a crazy show this is turning out to be. This is awesome that it happened in real time. This has legitimately never happened on the show before. If you watch our live draft, you understand we have news that is about to happen we know of, but this never happens where a player gets traded while we're doing the show live. This is nuts.
Has there ever been a moment like a Vikings trade or a signing or something that you can still remember what you were doing when it happened?
A Vikings trade.
It's like such a big thing because I can remember one. I remember I was at the movie theater with my friend Mike, who's a really big Vikings fan, and I got a notification on my phone, and this was 2010. So this was Favre round 2, and I remember in the theater went, "Holy shit!" And Mike's like, "What?" And I showed him my phone. The Vikings had signed Randy Moss back to the team. Like that.
See, I was going to go the other way with that when Chili shipped Randy Moss out.
Yeah, you could go the other way with it too.
I knew it was bad news hearing it later. I didn't realize in time, but why they got rid of Randy Moss the same season they got him. But I knew it was bad listening to Tom Brady and all these ex-Patriots players talk like, oh, if Randy Moss can get shipped out of here like that, cool. Well, we better not ever sneeze wrong in this building.
Right?
Crazy. Yeah, shout out to that. Games with Names. There's a lot of highlights of like the best New England stories. I was going to tell a story earlier, but I forgot because I was yapping too much. Is Bill Belichick famously doesn't wear socks, which is absolutely disgusting. And I think it was Bill O'Brien was on, and he was talking about when they had Kevin O'Connell on the team and Matt Castle, like the 07-08 era. And they said Matt Castle would say literally anything to anyone. And he's like, what does that smell? You guys smell that? He goes, Bill, is that your feet? And Bill Belichick's, Castle, why don't you shut the fuck up? Like, just like he does. And I would have paid a lot of money to be in that room just to hear that day. That's so funny to me.
So SKOL for Life Barber sends, I just read Alan Lazard, Mitchell Tinsley, and Adam Thielen are expected to be trade targets for the Minnesota Vikings. I read that as Mitchell Trubisky.
Hey, I'd take the biscuit as a backup. He's been chilling with Allen the last couple of years. Maybe he learned something. You trade one bad NC quarterback for another one, so that'd be cool.
Can we take the 6th-round pick we just got from Phillips and give it for Adam Thielen? And then when Thielen gets here, we're like, hey, we're going to restructure your contract.
Kyle, stop it. I want this to happen right now.
I know. But you just tell him, like, dude, like, you have to fucking restructure that contract. Like, we can't take that much of a cap hit.
Maybe Carolina can pay for a third of it. Maybe we'll get him for $9 million. I'd pay $9 million to a backup wide receiver because he's Adam Thielen.
Yeah, I know. Because I already have the jersey in my closet. So.
Well, here's a topic that I want to talk about. This is way too early, but we're going into weird.
He worked out with McCarthy in the offseason. Just bring him in already. Good
Well,
Lord.
it's not Adam Thielen I want. Like, I want Adam Thielen here immediately. I'm totally on board with that, dude. But I'm thinking about the future. What are we going to do come Jordan Addison contract time? Because thus far,
I don't know.
He's played up to his fucking potential, and I'm willing to pay that dude $25 million a year or $30 million
But he's also
a year.
been a bit of a dumbass.
Thank you, Adam.
Correct. He has been. And you know what? I pride this organization for trying not to hire and sign dumbasses, but he also caught 10 touchdowns last year. And I kind of need my wide receiver
I know.
I need, because him and Jefferson, dude, if we're going to keep offensive pace with people, I don't want the drop off to be Justin Jefferson to Jordan or what's his name, Jalen Naylor. I can't have that be wide receiver number 2. Now they could go out and try to get
Lucky
a wide receiver.
Jackson.
Yeah, they could do
Wide
what they did with
receiver
him.
2, Lucky Jackson.
Speaking of Lucky Jackson, he looked terrible in that game, week 2.
I
against
know,
the
man.
Pats.
He
dropped passes that he should have had.
Speaking of dropping
He was a
passes,
guy- he
that's
was
a
a
no
guy
on
real
Alan
quick,
Lazard.
I had Lucky Jackson, kind of a guy penciled in for making my initial 53-man roster. I thought he's a veteran. He's been around the league a little bit. He looked okay from what I'd heard in camp. If there was ever an opportunity for him, this was it. And the expectations for him coming into this season were not big. You know, come on in and get between that 300 to 500 yards receiving for us, be that kind of reserve player. And I don't know what I'm seeing from him now. I don't know if he makes the roster, but they're so banged up at the moment. You almost have to keep him.
I don't know, dude. I'm still thinking about this contract situation because I hate always comparing Justin Jefferson to Jamar Chase, but they're always going to be kind of compared because they're a year apart and went to the same school. But you got to have a good one too. Does that mean if they get rid of him or they don't want to re-up because he's kind of a problem sometimes, does that mean they go in the draft again? Because wide receiver is not guaranteed in the first round because we've had a Laquan Treadwell on this team who didn't work. The Chargers are finding out real hard they should have picked Addison instead of Quentin Johnson. Quentin Johnson looks terrible for a first-round wide receiver. He looks not good.
Wide receiver is one of those positions that you're never, as we can see, you're never set at wide receiver. Even when you think you are, you're not. And yeah. I firmly believe you should always be drafting wide receivers. You can never
Eagles
have.
GM is still talking about how much he regrets passing on Justin Jefferson.
Could you imagine Jefferson on that Eagles roster? Holy shit.
I would find a way. I would find a way to burn that city to the ground. I would be so pissed. Much. Oh God, they're already the most insufferable douchebag fucks on the planet. I couldn't imagine them having him and having that whole terrible town doing the gritty everywhere. I'd be so mad. Oh God.
I'm debating if we kill enough time if the Vikings will make another move. What do you guys think?
I don't see Minnesota making another roster move anytime soon as far as adding a player, but they might be looking to see what they can get as far as assets while they're trying to trim the roster down.
Who else would be next on the chopping block? Like, who has potential trade value?
I sent you guys the article that, what was it, USA Today, about trading Dallas Turner?
Oh, no.
Yeah, trading him for Trey Hendrickson. That's what I told Adam yesterday. I was like, so we get older and way more expensive at the position? That sounds like that sure is a plan.
No, I like to live in this place called the real world, where we don't do trades like that.
I legitimately was talking to myself today because I had nothing to do while I was driving to the city of Richmond today to take care of stuff. And I was like, okay, if I'm Trey Hendrickson, what's a good number? And since I had the numbers in front of me earlier, probably closer to $28 million if you're an agent. But this is all about the guaranteed stuff. He wants a 3-year deal guaranteed. What would the team be good enough to go for? He's making 21 this year. What if you go in and say, I want $25 million guaranteed per year for 3 years? That'll pay for itself right now based on value and production. But also, in 3 years of my last year, I'm going to play for you until I retire. And then in 3 years, if I'm making $25 million at the salary that I'm making there, I'll be making bottom half of the league at the position. $75 million guaranteed for a defensive end is pretty good. It's not TJ Watt and Myles Garrett money, but he's not TJ Watt. So...
But I am so glad that Minnesota is not in a position where they need to go out and get an edge rusher. They are more than fine at that spot.
And right. I've been thinking a little bit, too, about Addison on, what you do contractually with him coming up. Addison is going to want to get paid, dude. He is.
For sure.
He is, and he, like Adam said, bit of some off-the-field issues here. You hope that he's going to mature out of that. although I feel like we've been saying that since he got drafted. So that is kind of a lingering issue that comes with him too. But Addison is going to want to get paid like a number one, and there will be some franchise out there that will be willing to pay him. I think more than what the Vikings will, because we already have so much heavily invested in Jefferson and Hawkinson and all these other pieces on offense. So, are you going to get into the game of playing the franchise tag game with Addison, or are you willing to listen to an offer after this year? I don't know, dude. I don't know.
I can tell you right now, you're exactly right, Kyle, because I don't know if you really remember and study these super small details. I just remember dumb facts like this, but I remember his draft night.
I
He
know.
was talking about wanting to get paid. I'm ready. I'm coming in here to make my bread and do all that
Which,
stuff. And I'm like,
which,
that's great.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you
oh yeah,
should.
dude.
But you're down. You're absolutely right. He's going to want to get paid, and that's the part where okay, he's going to want to get paid right before we're going to have to pay McCarthy if it works out. No chance, bro. I pick the quarterback every time. So,
In that first preseason game, J.J. McCarthy and Jordan Addison looked like they were on the same page.
They
oh
have
yeah.
a great connection. They really do.
Well, you got to think too, like the way that everything's schemed now. It's not like every system and every team that the offensive coaches are doing the college thing where they say 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you just go like that. Sometimes you have to adjust, right? That's part of the NFL. That's why it's so hard. But you have to understand, like, okay, I play quarterback for the Vikings. I'm looking for number 18 every time I drop back to throw the ball. But I also understand he's going to draw the most coverage. So one A is always Jefferson, and then 1B is always Addison. And the great part about option number 2 is it's TJ Hawkinson, who is like super reliable. But he's going to have good chemistry with Addison because he's going to be essentially his real security blanket because Jefferson's going to be doubled most of the time. So he's going to have a good rapport with him. I have no doubt about that.
And don't sleep on Aaron Jones as a receiver. He's real good at that.
It's true. I saw somebody, speaking of running back, somebody compared, and I don't do fantasy anymore because I just don't care about it, but it said, why worry about your running back number 2 this year? You can get Jordan Mason as your David Montgomery for this season in like the 8th round or something like that. And I was like, that's pretty cool, dude. I forgot we got that guy. He's going to be a major asset to the team this year.
Who was that running back that they kept dropping screen passes to, Adam?
I couldn't tell you.
It was
for the yeah.
Oh, Xavier Scott?
Xavier Scott.
He might be working his way into a roster spot.
I think I did my 53 and I got him as running back 3.
I like that. I think he's carving out
3 catches for 44 yards in the game, 10 carries, 28 yards. So
looked pretty good catching those screen passes.
That's going to be your cut, man. It's not going to be a surprise, but I don't think that Ty Chandler makes the team, dude.
But you know who else has been looking real good that we were worrying about earlier was Will Reichert. He has not missed in the preseason. Made some nice long kicks.
How many more things can we knock on?
Fuck, 2 pieces of wood. I got a wooden box right here, too. Let me tap that.
Yeah.
Shit. Oh, God. All the PTSD just came back.
Yeah, I don't know. He had that spell in training camp, or maybe it was over-exaggerated, over-reported, because not much else was going on. But like you said, he's looked fine in preseason.
And you never know what'll happen in training camp. Maybe he was trying something a little different with like his approach or the way he contacted the ball. And
it's also, I don't know if they still practice outside or inside, whatever. But if they're outside like they were in Mankato, you're fucking kicking in 100-degree heat outside. It's understandable if you miss every now and then in training camp. Like, I get it.
Yeah, outside Minnesota in the summer can get really hot, but now that we're getting into the fall, it's way better.
Well, it's still really hot.
Just trying to build this algorithm up for us. I'm commenting while we're doing that, being a terrible host over here on my phone. Yeah, I would be more worried if the kicker went undefeated in the preseason, and then I'd be waiting for the world to collapse. I'm okay if you miss a couple. Like, it's okay.
Hey, I wanted to ask you guys, too, speaking of media overhype, everyone all of a sudden is on the Chicago Bears bandwagon because of one preseason game.
Yeah, because
the last 3 years they have been.
Yeah, because they played the Bills backups. Of course, you should look great against backups. Like, I've seen it when one linebacker comes out of the game falls apart. You're playing against an entire second string. Yeah, I would hope that you look good. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not trying to. I really am. Promise, I'm not trying to shit on Caleb Williams. Like, I
You
want all
can.
these guys. I want all these guys in the NFL to do well because I understand how hard it is, and they're pursuing their dream. Like,
And admit it,
human
I mean, the
improvement.
league is better when you have better quarterback play overall.
Oh,
Absolutely,
absolutely.
Yeah.
absolutely it is. And you know what we've seen like the last couple of years, the yardage has went down per game because defenses are better, more athletic, people are running the ball more. Like I want to see. I'm just as guilty as any other person that I complain about. Like I want to see a pass happy, like big high scoring game. But yeah, I'm gonna pump the brakes till I see it because what I saw from him last year was I'm gonna try to play hero ball and play backyard football, and it's like, brother, you can't do that in the NFL. You got about 3 seconds to get rid of the ball, otherwise you're gonna get killed. And maybe Ben Johnson is the quarterback whisperer and he can do that, but I'm telling you right now, if he doesn't look just as good, probably I'd say has to look better than last year. Dude, Chicago will move on from him next year. They don't care. That whole coaching staff came in 1 year after the quarterback got drafted number 1 overall. If you look bad and you're the number 1 overall pick, they don't have any ties to you. They'll
I,
get rid of you.
there was a time where I would disagree with you and be like, no, they'll move on from the staff and they'll stick with the pick. But no, the league that we are in, the climate that the league is in right now, they will move on from a high draft pick. That's just what happens, dude.
It's funny you said that. It's making me think of all the shows that I've been watching the last couple of days. Dan Patrick, got to give him a shout out. Still watch him. He said, "Hey," because we were talking about the Anthony Richardson stuff. He's like, "Hey, when we keep seeing these guys draft these guys high overall, like Anthony Richardson, and then they whiff on them, like San Francisco whiffed on Trey Lance." He goes, "Because essentially, when you say I'm starting Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson's not having like a season-ending injury, you've pretty much admitted now going into year 3 he is a bust." Why do we not blame the general managers, but we blame the quarterback and label them a bust? How come
Yeah,
the
no.
GM's not a bust? And I was like, damn, that's crazy because Chris Ballard's like this southern redneck kind of GM. Like, he'd fight you if he could see you outside the bar. I've heard him talk on McAfee plenty of times because he's an Indiana guy. Dan Patrick's got a point there. It's like, why is the quarterback the bust? You're the one that picked him. Like, you could have taken any quarterback that draft. That's
A lot
kind
of
of
the
your fault.
times, man, it's the situation that they put the players in as well too.
I think that's the majority of it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Minnesota's paying half of Harrison Phillips' salary on this trade. So Minnesota will be on the books for $3.7 million.
Not terrible.
It's
The cap's what, 260 million? That's fine. He's about 1% of it. I'll take that. That's all right.
So it's not, a big, it's not as big of a savings as I thought it was going to be. But
Well-
still a move that clears a roster spot, makes a little bit of money, gets an older player out. Now you can get a younger player like Levi Drake Rodriguez, Taki, or, some of those other guys, give them opportunities to get in there.
They must not have thought that he was even going to factor into their 53-man roster if they were willing to just part ways with him right now.
Well, I don't think the drop-off is as big as
It's truly not.
some think.
Trying to think of what I was going to say.
Because, what is it, Ingram Dawkins that has looked absolutely amazing since
Yep.
Yes.
training camp?
Yes, absolutely. Well, this is interesting, man. What a shakeup for the show. Had no idea that was coming. Like you said, they are 1-1 in the preseason. We don't care about records. You shouldn't care about the preseason record.
Don't matter
starting
at all.
here.
I mean, you could tell when Kevin O'Connell was on the mic during that third quarter of the first game, he wants to win those games.
Have we we talked about the Kevin O'Connell F-bomb yet?
No, we haven't. Which makes me, you know what? If you don't like swearing, that's okay. You don't have to, and I respect it. I do respect people that want to have an appearance like that. Like if you want to be seen that way and talk that way, that's totally cool. But what I love is authenticity. You've heard me on this show if you've listened the last few years. A guy like Russell Wilson, while I understand he has to be the face of a brand like the Giants or the Steelers or the Seahawks, whoever, you kind of want him to be buttoned up. Everything about that dude has been proven in the backyard reporting and hearing like anonymous sources because they don't want to rat him out. He's kind of full of himself and he's not really authentic. And I always got that from the interviews, the post game interviews was like, dude just says what he thinks you want to hear. I need authenticity. What I love about Kevin O'Connell is he seems so buttoned up and such like a family friendly guy, but at heart he was a quarterback. Nobody's more competitive on a team than a quarterback.
Right.
And hearing him say drop an F bomb by accident makes me think like, okay, number one, he's one of the boys, but number two, like he still wants to win, which is really cool because I kind of want my head coach to have that fire in his belly, and that's what it showed me was, oh, cool, like he actually cares. Because how many times have we seen a passive coach on the sideline that's kind of like, but if he's getting that pissed about a holding call or an offsides or a false start, dude, I love that. I love that
Right.
so much. And it shows how smart he is too. He goes, no, well, this is coming back.
Yeah, he was sad because that wide receiver had been having a real good game. It was the one that I mentioned on special teams. It was a procedural penalty that caused the team to move back, and he was really frustrated by that because otherwise it had been a real good day.
Wes, I'm typing you a comment here, but yeah, this is the first time ever we had something break news-wise mid-show. But glad you're jumping in too. Get on over there, SKOL Barber, Michael, Wes, MC Sports, all you guys, Bob. Go in and give this episode a like on YouTube and Facebook, wherever you're watching, so we can pump these numbers up. Shout out to SKOL Barber for giving us that news, dude. That's really cool.
And just a reminder, we are on Twitch and Kick as well, if you guys like those platforms better.
I'm not trying to rush off here. I just realized we hit an hour. It doesn't even feel like we've been on here for half an hour. That's pretty cool. Don't really have much to wrap up for the Patriots game. I wish I'm a bad fan. I didn't get to watch, but I was doing dad stuff. They are playing Friday against the Titans in Tennessee, so they'll be in Nashville in a few days. And then, like I said earlier, Tuesday they have final roster cuts, and then they'll be about 2 weeks out from the first game that Monday evening in Chicago, which I found out from a lot of people today listening on all my sports consumption. The Vikings are favorites in that game. So you want to ride that Bears hype train? Well, Vegas doesn't think they're very good. They're home opener dogs against the Vikings. So there's that. Take that how you will. I'm not going to go either way on that because it's the first game. Literally anything could happen. But if Vegas thinks we'll win that game, I'll take that.
All right.
Take that all day, man. Thank you so much, Vegas, for all your perverted gambling needs.
I don't really have a whole lot else to discuss. How about you guys?
No, I'm very pumped about that, man. I'm very excited this happened during the show, and obviously we'll record more. We'll post more if there's anything crazy that happens. But I think if you're listening to the show and as we wrap up, you should absolutely be paying attention to Vikings Twitter or any of the dings in your ESPN app for when.
I mean, the VikingAge.com is pretty good too.
That one too. You can check out Adam's work, which I was getting to on. I was going to get your plug there in just a second. There's going to be some movement coming up. They don't let go of a guy like this for that late of a pick if they're not making roster moves.
We got such a good team over at the Viking Age. We got people pumping out articles and lots of great information, opinions, analyzing, and just tons of great content coming out.
Absolutely. Go check out Adam's work at thevikingage.com. Click on any articles that you see with his name. You can't miss it. They have the author's name in every article in the little thumbnail. Check him out. I expect Adam to be writing an article very soon about a wide receiver that we pick up because I think that's going to happen. Kyle, you are totally right. Go buy a lottery ticket, dude.
Yeah, I should.
You called two of those this week.
So, I was looking at the roster here real quick, too, and there was one player I wanted to mention, and I think this ties in perfect with, Harrison Phillips no longer on the team. That opens it up for number 99, Elijah Williams, who was an undrafted free agent, who has came on and I think has actually been playing really well for the Vikings. This is opening up a spot and an avenue for him to make this roster as well too. Like Adam said, I don't think there's that big of a drop off in production as what you initially think with Harrison Phillips being traded from the team. Phillips is a guy that we were all fans of. There's name recognition, so there's that immediate shock factor that, wow, I can't believe they did that. But they really do have a lot of depth at that position. And we, Smith, you've said this all the time too. You kind of got to do the New England thing, where you get rid of a player a little early instead of holding on to them longer than what you should have. And they did
Absolutely.
that. They did that with Phillips, and I think you're going to put some younger talent out there on the field who can potentially give you more production than what you were going to get out of Phillips.
I think you should have the initial shock when you hear news come across your feed that we've cut or released a player. I want you to be shocked, not relieved. I think that's what happened today. We were legitimately shocked, but in a good way. And let's put this out there. We do this with all of our Vikings players, unless they're just, a woman assaulter or like a DUI getter all the time. Like, if you're a good human of any kind, we wish you the healthiest career, the longest career, make your money, have an impact, do all that. Harrison Phillips is a stand-up human being, and he's a damn good football player.
Oh yeah, good football player, great for the community, all around good guy.
He was always in the running for the Walter Payton nominee for this team too. So I want to put that out there. We're not happy that he's leaving because we don't
It's
like
a rough
him.
business, dude.
It is a business, and for him, looking up his stuff real quick, Harrison Phillips is 29 years old. So he's been in the league probably like 8 years now.
Yeah.
He's had a good career. He's not going to make a lot of money at his position, but he's still getting to continue his career. So I want to put that out there. We're stating kind of the obvious saying this. We're not happy that he's leaving because we don't like him and we don't want him on the team. But I do feel like, to your point, Kyle, echoing the stuff I've seen and heard a million times with the Patriots organization, do it a year early rather than a year late, and that's okay. I can live with that. I don't like the 6th-round pick. That's fine, but you know what? I know what it's going to do. We're about to add another player real soon, and I'm really excited to see who that is because it's probably going to help the team.
It's kind of funny that Harrison Phillips went from playing in Buffalo, Buffalo, New York, to coming to Minnesota, and now he's got to go back to New York.
He's playing in all the cold places. That's so funny. Hey, if you can buy into some hype, you can talk yourself into liking the Jets this year. They got a new quarterback, a new coach that came from a really successful team. He's a defensive guy.
Justin Fields still can't throw the football.
He's exciting though.
Yeah, he's not that good, but they're better than they used to be. I'll say they're not like the very bottom of the league now. They're in that bottom tier, but they're fighting their way back up. They got some good pieces. But yeah, good luck to him. I've got it on the screen here. We'll wrap the show up. Like and subscribe, please. If you're listening to us on any platform, hit the like button. Subscribe to us on YouTube or wherever else. Hit the notification bell. I did a very late notification today because we kind of did it on the fly, but most of the time, I will let you know in advance that we're going to do a show so you can jump in, because the whole point of me yapping right now is to tell you, if you comment, we're going to talk about it. You drive this show, and we might not have half a dozen people in here, but when they get in and give us their opinion, we're going to talk about it. So if you want to be heard, we are the show for you. We will put it up there.
Yeah, make sure to comment, subscribe, share it with your friends, leave a review wherever you listen. We appreciate all of that.
That helps us out. We're all about building up the numbers here. And if you want to build some more numbers, Adam here in your top left corner, he works for the VikingAge.com. Go over there and look up his articles. He writes about the Vikings all the time. If you click on the article and scroll through and read, you don't even have to read it. You can just scroll all the way to the bottom. You're going to pump up his numbers, which makes his paycheck bigger. And
I always do the winners and losers after each game, which is a lot of fun.
One of my
Although
favorites.
I feel bad calling people losers that are, professional football players.
One of my favorites that you do, Adam. I'm glad you brought that up. It's one of my favorite articles that you write. For Adam, look up MN Viking Zombie on all social media. He and I should do a review soon. He gave me a list of movies. I gave him a list of movies the other day, so we'll do a horror movie review here in the next week.
Smith said no to Smurfs.
I didn't say no to Smurfs. I said I haven't seen it yet. My son and I listen, if you got an 8-year-old like I do, that's our whole thing. When he comes to my house, we go to the movies, and I'm very excited to go see. I think it's Sketch is out now. We're going to go see Sketch. What did we just see that was really good? Damn it, I forgot. We just saw a kids movie the other day. It was actually really good. How to Train Your Dragon this year? Dude, I'm a dog person. Those dragons in that movie are basically dogs you can train that fly. One of the best kids movies.
Did you go and see that Elio when that was in theaters?
I did see Elio, and it was very good, actually. I enjoyed it.
So you got to see the lizard in theaters.
The lizard.
Lizard.
Space lizard. Yeah. I want to do that with my friends at work. I got to figure out how to do that. I wonder if I'll get in trouble for doing that on a government computer, though.
Maybe.
We'll see. Kyle West is on Blue Sky at Vaguely Square. Go follow him and give your unhinged thoughts to him, please. He needs all of them.
Yeah, you like talking horror movies and movies in general, and sometimes your discussion moves outside of movies and gets a little bit social, but not too crazy.
Yeah, I don't get too political. I don't do politics or serious things or any of that junk over on my social media. We're going to talk about movies, and I'll share a little bit of my photography work sometimes. I'm back into continuing my Walking Dead marathon, Adam, so I will be posting some more about that as well too.
You know what I should be posting about? That new season of Dexter. So good.
Oh yeah, is that out yet?
I am watching it right now on Paramount Plus. I got an offer for 99 cents a month for the premium
Nice.
plan, so that's what I've been watching.
I like that. Always get a good deal, dude. What am I watching? I'm going through Prime. I watched The Wrestler yesterday just because I hadn't seen it in 10 years. And then
But Dexter Resurrection is getting amazing reviews, and all everything I've been seeing has been positive. It's been so good.
I haven't seen any good shows lately. I can't do shows. I want to, but I can't do it. Is that weird for my brain? It probably is weird. I can go through an hour and a half literally every day, but if the story ends. But I feel like if a show goes on, I feel like I'm consistently watching the same thing over and over again. Then I get really irritated because I'm like, all right, when does the end happen? I need the climax of the movie so we can end. They're like, no, you got to come back tomorrow for another hour.
It's funny because I only really got Paramount Plus so I could watch Big Brother.
Oh, that's funny. Well, yeah, Paramount Plus. Now you can watch the UFC. It's coming up in 2026. That's a crazy deal they made for that. Being an MMA nerd that I am, it's kind of crazy they got that much money.
Well, they get to make their money even more off now, having those WWE pay-per-views moved to ESPN Plus.
Yeah. Kind of crazy they swapped. That's kind of weird. Sorry, Fire Breather. We are ending the show, but it's going well. If you haven't heard the news, Harrison Phillips was traded to the Jets mid-show about 30 minutes ago. So we feel they are freeing up space for a wide receiver move or acquisition. And
meanwhile, Harrison Smith's still on the Vikings.
yeah, the OG Harrison is still on the Vikings roster.
Yeah, that's my biggest shocker on my 53-man prediction. I think Harrison Smith is going to make the roster this year, guys.
That's my social media handle. I'm going to be pumping out some music here soon. I'm tracking guitars as we speak. I sent it to Kyle the other day. I wrote a song for my mother in 2021 after she passed away, and my friend, this is how far AI has come along. So I came up with the bed of music. I came up with the lyrics. I wrote the song. I sent the audio file in. I sent the lyrics in, and my friend typed in a huge paragraph in AI, and now I have a fully produced song with someone else singing it, which is weird as hell when you know, like, I came up with it. I know where each note goes, how the structure is. But I sent it to Kyle, and I was like, this is crazy. And I hate to be that guy. I'm not going to toot my own horn, but it does kind of sound like a radio hit song from like 10 years ago. So,
yeah,
so do you have like a little studio in your home, or do you go somewhere else?
I do, and I'll show you guys because I can do that today. This is my workspace here. So I have
cool.
I have an interface. I've got two monitors. I've got a microphone up here. It's a little dirty. My dog's right here. Hey guys, you want to say hi? Can you show them that you're wearing come here. Can you show them that you're wearing a giant inflatable watermelon thing on your
face? I see the watermelon.
My dog had surgery, so he
the cone of shame?
So he's not wearing the watermelon of shame, he is the watermelon of shame now. That's what I've said. My work dog, so if you guys care, I'm a dog handler for the government, and my dog last week, a normal working dog has a temperature when it's resting, just hanging out, about 100 to 102. They're slightly higher than humans. Obviously, they don't have sweat glands, so they can't sweat to cool down. Yeah, my dog's temperature at 6:30 in the morning after sleeping in and being in the coldest part of my house was 104.3.
Ooh.
So he was running hot for no reason. Turns out he had a abscess of infection on his liver that had to be removed immediately. So he basically had like a big bubble on his liver. They cut out the bubble and part of his liver. He has a scar that's like 12 inches long on his belly. So yeah, he's kind of isolated for the next few weeks, letting that surgery heal. He went through a major trauma on his body, and he's about 5 or 6 days out of it now, and he's like, I'm bored. I want to go do stuff. And like, sorry, my little watermelon slice, you can't do anything. So keeping this dog who thinks he's ready to go run a marathon on a leash has been fun. But
So would you say the plan was, are we going to wait until after the cuts, or are we going to go after the preseason game?
I want to wait till after the cuts because I feel like they're going to make a move unless so the game's Friday, right? If we decide that we want to go Monday and they make a move Sunday, sure. But I feel like we can kind of jam them into one if we want to review the game and then also talk about maybe roster predictions, because just because they make cuts doesn't mean that has to be the day their final 53 is done. Is that the same day? Is the final 53 the same day? Okay. Yeah, I think we should wait. We've already waited till Wednesday of this week. If we wait till Wednesday of next week, it'll only be a week in between, and we can.
Yeah, it ain't bad.
It's not too bad. And the good news, guys, as we end the show, this coming Monday, we're 2 weeks away from Vikings football. Can you believe it?
That's right.
2 weeks away. Technically, tomorrow, we're 2 weeks away from the NFL starting its official first game. The Cowboys and the Eagles.
Can't believe we got to wait until the last game of the week, though.
Isn't it annoying?
Stupid.
It's the worst. I'm off on Saturdays and Sundays, too. I got all those days off just to be tired on Tuesday morning. I'm angry about that already. All right, guys, I'm going to let Adam end the show.
Yeah, thank you to everyone who joined us in the chat. We love having you guys here, and today was a fun day to have everybody here and chat with us, so thanks again for joining us. And come back next week when we're going to talk about the final preseason game against the Titans. We're going to talk about the trimming to make the 53-man roster and what's going on with all that. And, of course, whatever else Minnesota Vikings news pops up, we'll be talking about that. In the